Hello bookish friends of the internet, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about my January favorite. I think it was in 2021 that I had a favorite series on my channel where I talked about all of my different favorite things throughout life, like lifestyle stuff too. And so I just kind of wanted to talk to you about that and bring back these favorites. That's one of my channel goals, is to do it for the whole year. So let's start off strong in January. Of course, I'm going to start with my bookish favorites of this month. And my favorite book that I read in January was With You Forever by Chloe Leese. This is the fourth book in the Bergman Brothers series. It follows Axel Bergman and Rooney and their love story. Rooney is the best friend of Willa, who is the love interest in book one of the Bergman Brothers. This book was my favorite. I loved Axel's character. He is a painter and he also has autism, and I really loved the representation within this book. I can't say if it was accurate representation on Axel's part because I'm not autistic, but I did really love his character. But I also really loved the chronic illness rep with Rooney. She has colitis, and I don't have colitis, but I do have a chronic stomach issue, and I just really love seeing that in this book, and I really felt represented. And I really don't talk about it too much, about my chronic stomach problems, at least on my YouTube channel. I think I've talked about it on my Instagram, but yeah, there's many sleepless a night with lots of throwing up and nasty stuff. So I really liked that she talked about it, and I loved how Axel talked about it with her too, and he sort of was like, it's not anything to be embarrassed about because, you know, everybody goes to the bathroom. And I loved it. I really, because it is something that's like kind of awkward to talk about because you're talking about like your bowel movements, and it just made it seem so normal and so okay to talk about, and I really loved that. Just loved their love story. There's a fake marriage. They have to get married because Axel needs to get an inheritance from his grandfather, and he wants to do this because he wants to repair the cabin house that his family owns, and Rooney says she'll do it. So, and her and Axel throughout the other books, there's like a lot of tension between them. So I think also reading this as a part of the series, you really get that build up between Rooney and Axel and their romance, and I loved that. So yeah, this was my favorite, and this is my favorite book in the Bergman Brothers series. And the next category is favorite film. So this month I have two. One is kind of more of a thought-provoking film, and the other one is just like pure entertainment, but still really good. The first film I want to talk about is Women Talking, which was directed and adapted by Sarah Polley. Sarah Polley is, funnily enough, in one of my all-time favorite horror films, Dawn of the Dead, the remake, and she is someone that I really admire and look up to in the film industry because she writes absolutely amazing script, and she is one of the best directors. I love seeing female directors. So Women Talking is a full cast of women, and there is one main character. It is about an Amish community deciding if the women should stay or if the women should go, because there have been a series of R-wordings happening in the village by some of the boys. Very much like a play, the way that the film is, because they're kind of in one setting the whole time, and it's a lot of monologues and discussions between characters. Absolutely beautiful. Such a beautiful film. I cried in it. The acting is absolutely superb. One of my all-time favorite actresses, Jessie Buckley, is in it. You guys might know her. She was the lead in I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I think she's just one of the most phenomenal actresses out there. Very close to Meryl Streep, who is my #1 all-time fave actress. There's such great acting. There is a fantastic monologue in the film by Claire Foy. I was like, wow. If I was still out there in the industry pursuing, that is a monologue that I would literally take and put in my pocket because it is such a phenomenal monologue. The writing is so powerful, and then Claire Foy's acting on top of it was just amazing. So I highly recommend everyone watch this. This is a movie I think everyone should watch. It is hard to watch because of what they're discussing, and it is a slower moving movie. I definitely recommend it. And also, it was a robbery that Sarah Polley was not nominated as Best Director. Of course, we have tons of really good directors, and guess what? They all have in common. They're men. So, you know, down with the patriarchy, as I like to say. And then the next movie that I want to talk about is kind of totally in the opposite direction of this. It is very much so a female empowerment movie, and it is called Run, Sweetheart, Run. We follow our main character who is asked to go and like go on a work dinner with a client for her boss because he cannot go, and so she does, and she really likes the guy. He's super charming. He's like kind of flirting with her, and they're kind of like flirting with each other, but then the night events turn and she has until sunrise to survive him, and he's literally hunting her through the streets of, I think it's Chicago, but I could be wrong, the streets of the city, and that if she survives then he won't like kill her. But it is so good, and it seems super duper straightforward, but I promise you it is way more than what I'm describing, and I absolutely loved it. I really liked the acting in it, and it was just so fun, and I had a good time. Like, I know me and my mom like stayed up real late watching movies, and this was one of the movies that we watched. The next category is TV shows. I honestly haven't watched a new TV show in quite a while. I just rewatch a lot of stuff. I put that on and then I read while I rewatch. I have been wanting to watch Fringe, and for Christmas I got the Amazon Fire TV stick, and it is on the Amazon Fire TV stick for free to watch, so I decided that I wanted to watch it, and I started it and I'm literally fallen down a hole. Like, this show is absolutely phenomenal. The acting is so good. John Noble plays one of my all-time favorite characters in TV. He is in Lord of the Rings. He played the Steward of Gondor, and I'm so sad I didn't start the show sooner. So it follows our main character, Olivia Dunham, and Olivia is starting to investigate crimes that are kind of a little strange, and they might have some science-y explanation to them. And in order to do this, she has to get together with Peter Bishop and work with him and get his father, Walter Bishop, out of an insane asylum. He is like an amazing scientist. He's really, really smart. And there's just a whole bunch of really cool science-y explanations, and then there's like time travel. It is so good. It's definitely got like the X-Files vibes. I would say it's like X-Files meets Doctor Who. And the second show that I want to talk about is The Last of Us, starring my main man, Daddy, Pedro Pascal, and it is so good. It's a really great adaptation of the video game. I played the video game years and years and years ago, and I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite video games. So I was so excited when I heard they were going to make it into a TV show, and when I heard that Pedro Pascal was cast, because I think he's a really great actor. Also, gotta love the Latin representation in media. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. There's not too many episodes out yet, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but basically it follows two main characters, and they are trying to get somewhere because there's this big outbreak of some kind of like asbestos algae thing, and it affected people, and people started turning into like these zombie like creatures. Very, very fun, very good. So I highly recommend checking that out. Also checking the game out because the game is so much fun. Next, my favorite podcast of the month, and this month I kind of branched out and started to listen to podcasts that I had never even heard of before. And so I listened to a podcast called Suspect, and it was so good. So the show follows cold cases or cases that someone has been either wrongly accused or the person hasn't gone to jail yet. So season 1 follows a murder that happened in an apartment building. The man who was falsely arrested and falsely imprisoned for the murder, and how this podcast helped to release him. It was so good, and it was heartbreaking, and it just talks a lot about the injustice of our police departments and the corruption that is within the law enforcement. All right, next I want to talk about my YouTuber favorites. So I have two. The first person that I want to talk about is Alexa Ray. I've really been loving her videos. They're super cute and aesthetic. Also, I'm obsessed obsessed with her personality. She seems so sweet and so nice, and honestly, she lives super close to where I live, and I'm like, can we just be book best friends in real life? Really love her videos, so you guys should definitely check her out. And then I also want to highlight my good friend, one of my besties on here, Tori from Tori Between Pages. I have always loved Tori's content. I'm obsessed with her content. It's so fun, it's so unique, and I love her perspectives on books. We have very similar tastes. I also just love her journal videos. They're some of my all-time favorite videos to watch. Very inspiring. I love watching them and being like getting ideas from her for my journal, so I definitely recommend you guys checking her out if you have not subscribed to her already. And we are hosting a fantasy romance readathon this month. I will leave my announcement video as well as Tori's announcement video down below, and her channel links as well as Alexa's channel links too. And then my favorite food or snack is these tangy chili Cheeto. They're hot Cheetos with like a sweet chili flavor. It is so good. Highly recommend everyone go get your hands on this snack because it is so delicious. And that is it for my favorites of January 2022. Tell me what your favorite book of the month was, or some of your favorite things. Do you have a favorite clothing item? Do you have a favorite snack that you discovered this month? Anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, please comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget, there's always time to burrow into a new book. Till next time, bye.